Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today we're taking a look at a devblog post that kind of fell through the cracks with everything that was announced last week with the announcement of the removal of DeadEye, with 10.3 coming out, with the new Dutch ships being announced. This devblog just kind of slipped away from me. I didn't even see it until I pulled up the devblog website to check on something for another video I'm making, and I saw this, and I haven't really even heard about anybody talking about this at all. So I just want to go through the short devblog with you guys, and then I'll share my thoughts on it, and then I'd like to hear from you, and you guys let me know what you think about this topic. But anyway, the link to it will be in the description down below if you want to read along as I read aloud, or you want to check it out after I get done, which I do highly encourage you to do. But anyway, let's go ahead and get going. So, ST, Adjustment Firing Mechanics. In the near future, we'll be testing a new mechanics. Ooh, English. It provides a certain temporary bonus to the ship for firing main battery salvos at the enemy ships. Principle of operation. A player must have a lock on an enemy target. While firing at the enemy, adjustment fire progress bar is filled by each salvo that hits the target or lands within a certain radius from it. When the bar is full, a certain gameplay bonus, for example, a boost to main battery reload speed, is activated for a limited period of time. This can be repeated several times during battle. If the ship does not fire at enemies for some time, the progress bar is reset. For now, we don't have a strict plan for using this mechanics and would like to test it first. Further steps with it will be determined after testing. Okay, so this sounds like a pretty big change to the game. And again, this is all just, they're just testing and they're just messing with it. This isn't even confirmed to be even being remotely thought of being added into the game, so take all this with a huge grain of salt. It's not uncommon that we hear about these new features and they just never make it into the game, like the convoys mode, like the destructible terrain that we heard about, 4 or 5 months ago. Again, Republic's rotating funnel, I won't let that go. But anyway, so the overall concept of this is actually pretty historically sound. The concept of it, at least. If you've played War Thunder Naval, this is in fact almost what you have to do. I think in the arcade battle, you have to take ranging shots on the ship that you are firing at, so that way you know how far away the target is and then can make adjustments for there. And it is very much what happened in real life. They would have to take ranging shots to get the ship dialed in or their target dialed in. Then they could really start laying into the ship. Although the bonus they mentioned doesn't make much sense, a boost to main battery reload speed. Ideally, the gunners should be loading as fast as they possibly can anyway, but maybe a boost to main battery accuracy would be more appropriate. And they don't say how long, they say a limited period of time. I mean, it makes sense, because with ships like Smolensk or Minotaur or Worcester or Austin, obviously if this is going by just salvos, they could get this bar loaded up in like a few seconds. But for battleships, who this would definitely help the most, it's a nice, I think, mechanic to be added into the game, especially with DeadEye being removed. Now, am I saying DeadEye being removed is a bad thing? No, I'm saying a lot of new battleships were definitely designed with DeadEye in mind, especially the one you're watching on screen right now, the Colombo. I mean, we had the Colombo, the Flanders, and a few others come out during this DeadEye period that once DeadEye's gone, their main battery actually is going to suffer pretty darn bad. But there's a very good chance that those ships will probably be buffed either way. But this is something that I think, honestly, if they added in the progress bar mechanic to the DeadEye skill, might have been enough to allow DeadEye to stay in the game, to where the skill is, once you've taken X amount of salvo of shots at an enemy ship, the shells have fallen either on the ship or near enough to the ship, you get that 10% boost to your accuracy for let's say 30, 40, 50 seconds, and it can be reactivated during battle. I think that would have been a much better idea behind the use of DeadEye, rather than just giving you a flat 10% boost to your accuracy. Because with that flat 10% boost to your accuracy, you've got that boost the second you get in the match, to where if you're in like a Shikishima or a Yami with the DeadEye build with the modules on it too, you could easily nuke a ship across the map on your first salvo. But if you had to fill a progress bar, that would make a lot more sense. Now, if they do it to where it does give you an accuracy boost, I don't think it should be 10%. It should be like 5% boost to your main gun's accuracy, which was where I thought they were going to wind up with DeadEye, but no, they're just outright removing it. And it does say it can be repeated several times during battle, and if the ship does not fire at enemies for some time, the progress bar is reset. And I'm assuming if the ship goes undetected too, obviously the progress bar would also get reset as well, since you're no longer looking at your target. And this is something that, again, is historically accurate. They would have to dial in their shots in real life when they were firing at ships in real naval combat. And it would help for sure cut back on a lot of the frustration with the current RNG of battleships, because even high-tier battleships, if you've played them, you know that the RNG sometimes is just atrocious. You can lead a target correctly or predict their maneuvers correctly and know that you did, and just watch as the shells just bracket the ship and just wash the deck with the splashes rather than connect, and it is beyond frustrating. A lot of times, by the time you've gotten to that point where you're predicting their maneuvers, you've fired at them more than a handful of times already, and it's just RNG screwing with you, and that is beyond frustrating. Any Battleship player will tell you that. And this would help cut back on that. It would also, of course, punish someone for staying spotted for that long, not breaking line of sight, or obviously not maneuvering. Because I'd imagine even with this boosted accuracy, if you maneuver, you're going to dodge it. It's not like, well, again, they don't say, but I imagine they're not going to, turn to freaking laser accuracy just because you managed to hit around the target a few times. But I think it's a good idea. It depends, again, on how much of a boost it is and what are they going by. They say salvos, but are they talking about individual shell counts or just salvos? Because again, like with salvos, like I said earlier, ships like Austin, Minotaur, and all that jazz, they're going to get this filled up in no time. But even a 10% boost to those ships' dispersion isn't much because they're already so accurate. But if it goes by individual shells, the frickin' Colombo will probably have it down in like 2 salvos with its 16, 15-inch guns. But I'm guessing it's going by, when you click the mouse and your guns fire, that's a salvo. Or can you stack it with your front guns and your rear guns and, kind of speed up the progress bar? I don't know. They don't go into detail, and they say, it is just testing it. They don't have any hard plans for it just yet. So overall, solid idea. I would very much like to see it get put onto the public test server and let us play around with it and see what can be done. And I think this was even brought up when we were talking about DeadEye. I think I remember somebody commenting that DeadEye should work something like this, where once you've taken X number of shots at an enemy ship, your gunners can dial in your guns better. So then you get the 10% boost to the dispersion, and then you lose it once the ship goes undetected. I swear someone said that on like one of the DeadEye videos that came out a few weeks ago. But interesting concept. Would love to see it in testing. So let me know in the comments down below. Is this something you guys like to see in testing? And should this apply to just battleships, cruisers? Or should this maybe should this be a new commander skill? Could this be the skill that replaces DeadEye? Because, Swift and Silence. That is such a meme skill right now. And I'm like 80% sure that's just a placeholder for now, because sure, it's going to help some battleships move a little bit faster, like the Georgia and the Alsace and the Iowa and the Bismarck. But like for 80% of battleships, you're going to get that boost for like a minute, and then you're going to get spotted. So this could very well be what's replacing DeadEye, even though they do say it's a mechanic, not a skill. But I don't think that would deter them from making it a skill. What do you guys think? Do you guys think this should be a skill? Should it be a mechanic? Let me know down below. As far as I'm concerned, I think a mechanic would probably be best, but it wouldn't surprise me if they do switch it up and make it a skill for battleships. Because it's, again, the only real class that can really benefit from it. Because cruisers have accurate guns. The Siegfried is the cruiser with the largest guns in the game, and its accuracy is already phenomenal. So this is really just a battleship thing I think, for right now. So again, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Tuesday. If you liked what you saw, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel. We just passed 24,100 subscribers a few days ago, and we're on our way to 25,000. I'm planning on doing a pretty big giveaway when we get there, so keep your eyes on the channel for that. Again, guys, hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.